Marty Davis Productions. Welcome to the NBA Resimulation of the 2010s. A 20-year experience we're going to try to go for here. Downloaded the 2001 NBA rosters. Went back and tried to get most of the old logos, old jerseys, old courts. I did do an expansion team, so there's 32 teams right now. I believe I've added the St. Louis Sound, who did not make the playoffs here, but you'll see them in upcoming videos and upcoming seasons. I got the Vancouver Grizzlies instead of Memphis. That'll stay because I hate the Memphis's logo. The New Orleans Pelicans are the New Orleans Hornets, way better logo and colors. And the Charlotte Hornets, the Charlotte Bobcats, because I got that and it looks pretty cool. So you can see in the first year here, Lakers, Kobe and Shaq in their first year, playing out pretty true to form. They win the championship. This time it is the Bucks who win that Game 7 2001 over Allen Iverson. The Sixers, they advance, give the Lakers all they could with Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, and Glenn Robinson. Lakers come out on top. I'll just go through some of these playoff teams. I do not remember who plays for Vancouver. I think Mike Bibby might before he goes to the Kings. Timberwolves have a young Kevin Garnett. Rockets have Steve Francis and someone else. Kings have Chris Webber, the start of that team that was dominant in the early 2000s. The Suns are led by young Jason Kidd, who can do it all. The Mavericks have a young Dirk Nowitzki just getting started. Going over to the East, the 76ers are led by Allen Iverson and Dikembe Mutombo. You have the Wizards. I don't remember who's on that team, but they got a cool logo right there. I like the old logo, but I like the new colors, so you got a little one. Shout out to the 2K community on that. Also shout out to my first shout out of this video going on YouTube. I sound like a true streamer now, a true video maker. The Pistons, I think they just have Ben Wallace right now. That reminds me, Portland, they have Rasheed still. They have Rasheed, and they might have a really, really old Clyde Drexler who's just kind of walking around with a cane out there. Charlotte Bobcats, they have Baron Davis. I don't know if he was drafted over to Charlotte because they came in 2002. So I don't remember where he was drafted, but he's on this team, so I don't know if that's right or not. But he led them to a 5 seed in the first year. Milwaukee, like I talked about, Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, Sam Cassell, just a really solid team. The Eastern Conference Finals matchup matches what happened in real life in 2001, minus the fact that Philadelphia came away with that Game 7 win. I am a Bucks fan, so this made me very happy to see that the Bucks pulled out the W. They beat the Pacers in the first round in 7 games, got a little scared there. That's Reggie Miller. They would go on to the finals about 2 years later in real life. I don't know, remember they might have Mark Jackson, Mama There Goes That Man there as well. And then Miami, they got Tim Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning. They were swept by the Bucks in the second round. And then coming into the 7th seed is Paul Pierce's Celtics, who he just does not have enough help. He is all alone. So that is the 2000-2001 season. I'll show you some starting lineups for the conference finals teams and a couple of highlights from some game action. I had some videos, other things like that. I'm really new to this. I'm really bad at it. There was a lot of work just to get this downloaded here. So I'm going to do this with the first 3 seasons, which I've already simmed. And then going on the 4th season, the 2004 season, I'm going to go basically do a Twitch broadcast on that. So you'll have the game audio, my audio, the voiceover, and you'll be able to watch these games live and see the reactions live. And then I may add, do this thing for the rest of the seasons, kind of add to this YouTube video with like the bracket pool, the standings, some highlights, just to kind of wrap it all up to be a documentation source. Alright, that is my first voiceover and video for NBA 2K. Let's go. Starting lineups for the Eastern Conference Finals: Cassell, Allen, Robinson, Tim Thomas, Urban Johnson. Sixers, Barkley, AI, McKee, Lynch, Ratcliffe. Barkley trying to go for a ring there. It was an awesome series. Here's the Western Conference Finals, which was a sweep. Jason Kidd, old Penny Hardaway, young Sean Marion, Cliff Robinson, someone else. Lakers, Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, Robert Horry, and Shaq. Lakers swept the Suns. The Sixers-Bucks series, very fun. Sixers led 3-0. It's one of the first ever 3-0 comebacks in 2000. The Bucks come back, win 4 straight. A little bit of highlights here from Game 7. Some matchups, Glenn Robinson dunking it down. And there's your finals matchup. A good guard matchup between Kobe and Ray Allen. The small forwards are pretty solid. Big mismatch with Shaq and the big men for the Bucks. Not really an answer there. The Who had an answer for Shaq in 2000s, and you see the Lakers come through. Moving to Game 2, this is a tight game in LA. You can see some highlights from this game. 1-point game very late. Sam Cassell misses that layup. Tied with 30 seconds left. Glenn Robinson triple team to Thomas would be the go-ahead bucket to win the game. The Bucks will go on to win Game 3 at home and then drop Game 4 to make it a 2-2 series. Lakers win Game 5, Bucks Game 6, and the Lakers would bring it all home in Game 7. And Kobe and Shaq get number 1. At the end of 2001, John Stockton retires after a great career along with Detlef Schrempf. Those are the biggest names. The draft class, big names. Paul Gasol goes to the Cavs. Jason Richardson goes to the Thunder and teams up with old Gary Payton. Going number 7, Gilbert Arenas. 2K God goes to the St. Louis Sound. Tony Parker to the Jazz and Zach Randolph to the Hawks. Alright, in 2001 free agency, Juwan Howard signs the defending champion Lakers. Patrick Ewing's old ass signs with the Suns to try to run it with Jason Kidd. Hakeem Olajuwon goes to the Timberwolves to mentor Kevin Garnett. Stephon Marbury leaves the Nets, signs with the Heat to go with Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway. Sharif Abdul-Rahim leaves Vancouver to go to the Jazz and replaces John Stockton's contract. And Rasheed Wallace signs with the Pistons, uniting him with Ben Wallace just like in real life. And right now they also have Jerry Stackhouse. The Wallace brothers are back, and the Rockets signed Michael Finley to some max money. Here's your league leaders in points per game, AI and absolute bucket. Gilbert Arenas in his rookie year putting up monster numbers, and then rounding it out are Kobe, Dirk, and Jerry Stackhouse. And this is how the 2002 playoffs went down. You can see in the finals, the Nets defeat the Lakers, denying them a chance at a repeat. So the New Jersey Nets get their championship instead of real life where they lost twice in the finals. Zooming out to the first round though, Jason Kidd and the Suns, number 1 seed in the West, get upset by Mike Bibby and the Vancouver Grizzlies. They even lost Abdul-Rahim and still beat the number 1 seed Suns. The St. Louis Sound, Gilbert Arenas as a rookie leads the Sound to the playoffs, gets to the second round, actually the conference finals, wow, because they defeat Vancouver in the second round. Number 3 seed Houston has Steve Francis and Michael Finley. The Clippers had Lamar Odom, Corey Maggette, and Jermaine O'Neal, so a very solid front court, good Clippers squad. They get to the second round, and we have an LA series for the first time, I believe, possibly in NBA history, that the 2 LA teams have played in the playoffs. And then the Spurs did lose to the Lakers in the first round. Tim Duncan, David Robinson, they've been disappointing so far, not matching their real-life playoff success. Going over to the right side to the East, the Nets are your number 1 seed. They had a team containing Kerry Kittles, Keith Van Horn, Kenyon Martin, and they drafted rookie Tyson Chandler to round out a very deep, gritty team. Atlanta, I don't know who they had. Miami has Stephon Marbury and Alonzo Mourning. They lose in 6 to the Wallace Bros and Jerry Stackhouse. The 76ers avenged their conference finals loss to the Bucks in the first round, defeating them in 6. And Tracy McGrady and the 2 seed Orlando Magic get upset by the startup Charlotte Bobcats. Not really sure who they have, but their court and their colors are awesome. Eastern Conference Finals matchup, 76ers there for the second year in a row and second straight loss. Similar lineup, McKee, AI, Judd Park, Charles Barkley still trying to get that ring, getting so close, and Theo Ratliff round out the top 5. The Nets, as I said, point guard, shitty dude, Kerry Kittles, Keith Van Horn, Elton Brand, Tyson Chandler, and Kenyon Martin, 6-man, comes off the bench. Just a gritty, nasty, physical team. So the Nets take care of Allen Iverson and 76ers. The Lakers come back from 3 down against rookie Gilbert Arenas and comes back and wins in Game 7 to go to the finals. And the Nets and the Lakers was a great series, back and forth. The Nets just had the bigs to wear Shaq down, get him in foul trouble. And then Keith Van Horn and Kerry Kittles were nice snipers from the outside. They win in 6 games. And so Lakers win last year.
Nets win this year, and that is your 2002 season. I skipped the 02 draft because it sucks and it's not exciting. Went straight to 03 with D. Wade, LeBron, Bosh. With the number 1 overall pick, the Sonics take LeBron James. The New Orleans Hornets take Carmelo Anthony. Timberwolves get Dwayne Wade and team him up with Kevin Garnett. That should be lethal. Knicks go Kirk Heinrich, passes on Chris Bosh, and Chris Bosh comes home to Toronto. Big 2002 free agency. Chauncey Billups signs with the Jazz from the Nuggets. Both teams haven't really done anything, but notable name. Rip Hamilton signs with the Suns. They were the number 1 seed last year, lost in the first round. They have Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, and now add Rip Hamilton. What a legend. The Sound signed Vince Carter away from the Raptors. Just off a Western Conference Finals appearance, it's now Vince Carter and Gilbert Arenas. Baron Davis played for the Bobcats. He is signed with the Cavs, who just drafted rookie Paul Gasol last year. He'll be in his second year. And the Hawks signed Ray Allen. Ray Allen leaves the Bucks, leaving Michael Redd to fill his shoes. 2003 NBA playoffs. How does it shake down? Well, the Lakers sweep the Bucks, winning their second NBA title in 3 years and 3 finals appearances. The Bucks, 2 finals appearances in 3 years, 2 losses. This time without Ray Allen, but with Michael Redd. Zooming out, looking at playoff teams in the first round. LA survives a scare against Golden State. I do not know who they have. Clippers defeat the Mavericks. Mavericks have Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki. Clippers are Lamar Odom, Corey Maggette, and Jermaine O'Neal. The Sound defeat the Rockets with Steve Francis and Michael Finley. The Suns, with that big squad of Sean Marion, Rip Hamilton, and Jason Kidd, defeat Kevin Garnett and rookie Dwayne Wade in the first round. Over to the East, number 1 seed, Tracy McGrady. They also have Grant Hill on that Magic team. They defeat Paul Pierce and the Celtics. Looking at the Bucks and the Heat have Stephon Marbury, Alonzo Mourning still. Bucks, we've already mentioned who they have. Pistons, Wallace Bros and Jerry Stackhouse win in 6 against the rookie Chris Bosh and the Raptors. The Nets, we covered them in depth. It's the same team from last year. Defeat the Bulls, who might just have Jamal Crawford in 7 games. Going back over to the West, you have the LA series again. Same matchup, same result as last year. Lakers beat Clippers in the LA series. Down below, probably one of the best playoff series of this season. Phoenix and St. Louis. Remember, Phoenix has been a solid squad since we started the simulation. 2 years ago, reached the Western Finals, got swept by the Lakers. Last year, number 1 seed, losing in the first round. Here they get to the conference semis and run into a huge, formidable opponent in Vince Carter, Gilbert Arenas, and the Sound. It was a fun series back and forth. Sound come out on top. Hopping over back to the East, the Eastern Conference semis. It's the Magic and the Bucks. Remember, the Magic were the 2 seed last year, upset in the first round by Baron Davis and the Bobcats, but this is a team that's been here, has not had a lot of playoff success. They get to the second round here with Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill and face a deep and talented Bucks squad. They do not have Ray Allen, but they have Michael Redd. They still have Glenn Robinson and Sam Cassell. And this was a great series. They win 7 games. In this clip here, Tracy McGrady is trying to tip the ball in, down 1 in Game 7. They review it. His fingertips are just on the ball. No basket. Bucks win Game 7 by 1 to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the defending champion Nets. The Nets made work of the Pistons and really grinded out. Eastern Conference classic matchup between the Wallace brothers, Jerry Stackhouse, and the front court of Kenyon Martin, Tyson Chandler, and Elton Brand. It's the rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals with Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Gilbert Arenas, and now Vince Carter in the fold in what is becoming a playoff rivalry. This time the Lakers do not get down 3-0 and have to make a big comeback. They defeat the Sound in 5 games to advance to their 3rd straight NBA Finals. It's Bucks, it's Nets. East Conference Finals, defending NBA champion Nets. Kittles, Van Horn, Brand, Chandler, Kenyon Martin. Last year's Finals MVP against Cassell, Glenn Robinson, and Michael Redd. No Ray Allen this time around. It was a grit and grind series, close games throughout. Elton Brand was dominant, Glenn Robinson was dominant, Michael Redd filled Ray Allen's shoes nicely. Milwaukee comes away with a very close Game 6 win to advance to the finals and then get absolutely swept by the Los Angeles Lakers. Just not enough firepower. None of the games were close besides Game 4. The Bucks put up their best effort but could not stop the Los Angeles Lakers from getting 2 titles in 3 years. Shaq, Finals MVP. Alright, draft class. Last year's draft class was the 03 draft class, the famous draft class. 04 draft class I was not excited about, maybe Dwight Howard, but really he just bogs down contracts, doesn't do much in 2K. I didn't like it. 05, I like Chris Paul. Obviously, you have to have CP3. Bynum, Granger, Lee didn't excite me, so what I did was I added Chris Paul and Giannis Antetokounmpo to the 2006 draft class. So the 2004 draft starts, and the New Orleans Hornets select Chris Paul to #1 overall pick. This means last year's pick Carmelo Anthony, this year's pick Chris Paul. Melo and CP3 are teamed up in New Orleans. Brandon Roy goes to the Vancouver Grizzlies. Giannis in this draft goes to the Cavs. They already have Paul Gasol and Baron Davis. Could be a lethal team in years to come. At the 5th pick, the Las Vegas Aces select Kyle Lowry. They are an expansion team. There are now 34 teams in the NBA in this simulation. This will be the first year with 34. Last year was 32. Rounding out the top 10 in the 04 draft, Paul Millsap goes to the Las Vegas Dragons. That is the 34th expansion team. Rajon Rondo goes to the Charlotte Bobcats. Rudy Gay to the Trailblazers. And no other notable names. JJ Redick to the Knicks. LaMarcus Aldridge to the 76ers. Free agency moves 2004. Michael Redd leaves the Bucks, signs with the Spurs and Tim Duncan. And then you have Allen Iverson leaves the 76ers to go to the Bucks. So the Bucks replace Michael Redd with Allen Iverson, still have Glenn Robinson. But the Bucks also lose Sam Cassell to the Pacers. Reggie Miller on his last leg signs with the Celtics. Rashard Lewis goes to the Sound, reinforcing that team. And the Lakers sign Jason Terry. The rich get richer. The last big move of free agency is the Suns lose Sean Marion to the Bulls. So the Suns now have Rip Hamilton and still Jason Kidd, but no Sean Marion. 2003-2004 season. I mistakenly said that was the 04 draft class earlier. In this timeline, that was the 2003 draft class. We are in 2004 to finish out this season. The West looks very familiar. The biggest Western Conference threats to the Lakers are the Sound, the Suns, maybe the Mavs, maybe the Timberwolves. We'll see how it plays out. But they all look the same. The newest and fresh face is LeBron James getting into his first ever NBA playoffs, the 8 seed, the Seattle Sonics. Moving over to the East, a lot of familiar faces. You have the Nets, Boston, Toronto, Miami, been there before, Atlanta, Cleveland, a fresh face, Paul Gasol, Baron Davis, and rookie Giannis Antetokounmpo coming in for the 6th seed. And then at the bottom you have Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady for the Magic, and that familiar Bucks team, but not so familiar because this team is led by Allen Iverson. LeBron James and the Sonics upset the #1 seed Suns. That is the second time the Suns have been on 1 seed and lost in the first round. Dirk advances. Gilbert Arenas, the Sound, and Vince Carter advance. Another 3rd year in a row. Sound versus Lakers over in the East. Nets advance. Heat advance. Cavs upset the Hawks. And once again, back-to-back years, the Bucks beat the Magic to advance to the next round. Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill cannot break through. For the 3rd year in a row, St. Louis Sound meet the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference playoffs. 2 years was the Western Conference Finals, this year in the conference semis. Once again, the St. Louis Sound had the Lakers on the ropes, led 3-2 in the series, trying to close out Game 6, but Jason Terry hit a couple of huge threes. Vince Carter would answer back, but LA would survive, force a Game 7, and take it in a very close game and a win by 5. That is the 3rd year in a row in this playoff rivalry these two teams have faced, and the 3rd year in a row the Lakers have come out on top and advanced.
So special.
In a hard-fought series, LeBron James and the Sonics overcome Dirk and the Mavericks. Lakers advance, Bucks advance, and the Nets beat out Stephon Marbury and Alonzo Mourning in the other East matchup. So Eastern Conference Finals is a rematch of last year's Bucks and Nets. This Nets group has been together for a couple years now. They've won a title together. This is a new-look Bucks team led by Allen Iverson and Glenn Robinson. Gone are the days of Ray Allen, Michael Redd, and Sam Cassell. In the West, it's the Seattle Sonics led by LeBron James, the 8th seed. They upset the Suns. They upset the Mavs. They went through Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki, and Steve Nash to face a Los Angeles Lakers squad looking to get to their 4th consecutive finals. Kobe and Shaq not done yet.
So special.
And so the 2004 finals are a rematch of the 2002 finals. Lakers, Nets. This time the Lakers come through in 6 games. This is probably the best NBA finals ever witnessed. Almost every single game was within 2 or 3 points, as you can see from some of those screenshots and gameplay. It was just fantastic finals games. The Lakers get their 3 championships with Kobe and Shaq. It's not a three-peat, but it is 3 titles and 4 straight appearances. And that is the 2004 season. Kobe and Shaq get 3 rings.